Hi, I'm Debbie Lamata, and this is Out of the Attic live from Delaware. Tonight's show is brought to you by R2RB Broadcasting. Find out where I have traveled to, what's going on in Delaware this week, what's new in podcast land, good music, fun facts, trivia, and more. Grab a drink, get comfy, and don't go anywhere. I'll be right back after the music. And that was Love is Dead by Black Marine. Avant-garde composer, pianist, and performer. And I'm Debbie Lamata, and this is Out of the Attic live from Delaware. And it's that time again, Sunday night, and we're winding down from the weekend. What's been going on in your neighborhood? Well, I was out and about this weekend, and I'm going to fill you in on that later on in the show. Stopped at a couple of places this weekend. And tonight's Women Entrepreneurs Spotlight guest is tried and true, just for you. Owners Julia and Tara joined me for a conversation, and I'll be sharing that with you tonight. Tonight's Indie Artist Highlight is the primary phase principle. I am looking forward to telling you all about these tonight. So grab your drink, get your headphones, get comfy, and I'll be back after the music.
I went for a walk, didn't know my destination, and I stopped to talk to a man with real imagination. He told me, son, the road is long. Keep your head up and you can't go wrong. He told me, man, do what you can. I've given you these words and I think you understand.
Hello, this is Steve from Burlow's Band. You're listening to Out of the Attic, live from Delaware, with your host, Deb Lamata.
And I am back. And Steve Anderson, Burlow's Band. Have you been following his adventures on Facebook? Go follow Burlow's Band. You won't be disappointed. Oh, just a really nice guy. But he's traveling around England in his motorhome, and he's been telling the stories along the way about his travels. So it's pretty cool. Go check him out, and please go find his music. That last song, Angel on Your Shoulder, the Crom. They are from Perth, Scotland, and Alan Sweeney is their songwriter, and he wrote this track after listening to Sympathy for the Devil, of course, by the Rolling Stones. He said, instead of meeting the devil, I imagined meeting God in the street. So with that in mind, I wanted lush, swelling reverb layered with synths. And he basically wanted an ethereal sound that makes you think of heaven. I think he did a pretty good job. This is the last single they released from their This is the last single that they released from their second album, Evolution, back in April 2024. Oh my gosh, a year ago. I don't know where time flies. Speaking of time, and I'm going to share this with you because I've shared it on Facebook. My birthday is coming up this week, April 10th. It is Thursday. I am going to be 66 years old. Holy crap. That's what I got to say about that. But why am I telling you that? Well, last year and halfway through the week, I had some fun on the show before my birthday, and I'm going to be doing something for my birthday on my show this coming week as well. What else is going on with my birthday? Well, I have posted about if you can donate to Second Chance Ranch here in Felton, Delaware. Those that you know me, I am a volunteer and also a board member of Second Chance Ranch. It is my home away from home. It is my horse therapy. It is a place that I get to go and help as much as I can. I go a couple times a week, and listen, if you haven't been around horses, find one. Find a place, find a rescue. It'll change your life. I promise you that. But if you can make a small donation, because I'm going to be turning 66. That number sounds so big. Oh my God. Anyway, I'd appreciate it. Oh, what else is going on? Oh, here's my question for you. And you can text me at 302-272-5389, or you can email me at info@r2rb.com. What do you do for self-care? Do you take time away from everything? Do you kind of step away from social media? Do you meditate? Do you go for a mani-pedi? How about a round of golf, fishing, or, run away to your favorite spot? I know a lot of people have, maybe they'll drive to the beach or take a walk in one of the parks, just to get away from the hustle and the bustle. It's very important. I know I've always known that self-care is important. I haven't always done it for myself. And I would have to say, when I was working at the school, it was very important for us to have a self-care day, or to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves. Because if you don't take care of yourself, sometimes you're not going to be able to take care of anybody else. So anyway, you can text me at 302-272-5389. Email me at info@r2rb.com. How about, maybe going antiquing? So when I moved down here 3 years ago, I had been coming to Delaware off and on because my parents retired here 19 years ago. So it was a second home to me. But, we never really, we went out and about and we did little things here and there. We visited different places, but it wasn't until I moved down here and really settled in and got out and about of Delaware. There is so many cute little places, so many cute little antique shops, secondhand, you name it, it's here, from Wilmington to Dover, down to Lewis and Bethany, and in between, and on the eastern shore of Maryland as well, since that's not too far from where I am. I love finding all the little places, stop in on the weekend or stop in during the week, whatever works for me. Right? Oh my gosh. Well, I'm going to tell you, you're going to enjoy my conversation with Tried and True, Just for You, with Julia and Tara. I really enjoyed our conversation. What if you could just shop from the comfort of your own home? Which we all do, right? We all have Amazon, or pick up groceries from Walmart, or you can have them delivered, or you place your orders online, and whomever delivers these days, everybody and their brother, and so why not antiquing as well? So Julia and Tara have they go live. They go live on Instagram. That's their home base. So if you want to go check them out, Tried and True, just the number 4 for you. And so they go live. Sometimes they're on their own, and sometimes they will collaborate with another antique small business owner. But so much fun. I mean, why not shop from home? If you're looking for something in particular, you can reach out to them as well. Yeah, who doesn't like a good antique? And I'm telling you, if you come to Delaware and you like antiquing, you will not be disappointed down here, but you definitely have to go look for tried and true just for you. So that is my Women's Entrepreneur Spotlight interview tonight, coming up shortly. I'm going to spin a couple more songs before we head into the interview. So don't go anywhere. I will be back.
In March 1960, a rumor spread around of a special visitor to this airship town. 200 people, give or take a few, gathered round to see if this rumor was true. That moment was life-changing, that's what they say. No one would ever forget that magical day. You got to see the king. They got to see the king. So much joy from one small thing. Hail, hail, rock and roll. They got to see the king. When he got off the plane, he joked, where am I? Press me, love you was the collective cry. Looking so young and handsome in his uniform, the Mississippi lightning bolt really caused a storm. He signed autographs, shook hands, setting hearts on fire. The king of rock and roll was in our humble little shire. They got to see the king. They got to see the king. So much joy from one small thing. Hail, hail, rock and roll. They got to see the king. Well, the king is gone, but he's still everywhere. I met people who were actually there. They say they've never felt such excitement again. Their lives were changed when he stepped off that plane. Well, a smile and a wave was all it took. For those who'd gathered there, the whole world shook. The whole world shook. I said the whole world shook. 1, 2, 3, 4. They got to see the king. They got to see the king. So much joy from one small thing. Hail, hail, rock and roll. They got to see the king. They got to see the king. Got to see the king. So much joy from one small thing. Hail, hail, rock and roll. They got to see the king. They got to see the king. Got to see the king. So much joy from one small thing. Hail, hail, rock and roll. Hail, hail, rock and roll. Hail, hail, rock and roll. They got to see the king. They got to see the king. They got to see the king.
this beautiful piece, Dancing Lights, Histheory. History, Charles Saison. The name is formed by the words history and theory. When there are gaps in history, it is filled with theory. Sometimes theory becomes history. You are invited to create your own theories and shape your history. About this song, imagine that flicker of lights from a fire, candle, or a firefly. It's a dance from nature. This dance invites you to expel all that is negative in the world and focus on the beauties of this world. My goodness, right? We have so many negative things that surround us sometimes, and sometimes it's hard to get through it all. But put on some good music, and I promise you'll get through it. Absolutely. So, Sintel Gospel Music, thank you for texting me. The question was, what do you do for self-care? And so Sintel says that he prays and takes time away with God. Also get a room at a hotel and soak in a hot tub. I like that. That is really good. And it's so important to take the time for yourself. Because as I said, if you're not taking care of yourself, you're not going to be able to, one, enjoy life and be able to take care of other people. So make sure that you're taking care of your soul spiritually and everything else in between. And that song prior to Dancing Lights was a short stop-off by Debbie Campbell. And I kind of like the story behind this. It's a short stop off is about Elvis Presley's only UK visit to Prestwick Airport. How cool is that? And in March of 1960. There you go. Pretty cool. Great music. Great people that I get to talk to. As always, I enjoy all of this. So I have started something new. Why not? It's going to probably be on the Wednesday night show halfway through the week, though I'm doing it tonight. And then I'll do one more on Wednesday, and then I'm on vacation for 2 weeks. But it's the highlight spotlight for an indie artist. It's your best elevator pitch. It's going to be towards the end of a show. It'll be 10 minutes of a interview, and it's going to be lined up with Wednesday Rally. And last week, it just happened to coincide, with Wednesday's Rally with Jack, Brody, who was my guest for the R2RB Indie Artist podcast. Can't even have short names for my things. Anyway, I'm going to tell you all about Wednesday's Rally and what that entails on Wednesday's show this week. So stay tuned for that. Sometimes I've got all these notes and sometimes it doesn't work out for me. Hold on. Don't go anywhere. Anyway, that is what's coming up. And so I'm really excited. Of course, tonight is the primary phase principle. And I'm just looking. Atlas Slip is on Wednesday. So he is also the Wednesday Rally. I don't have too many notes in front of me. Anyway, stay tuned. Stay tuned for more. I'll bring you up to date when I find the right notes. Anyway, you're not here for me. You're here for the music. You're here for the interview, which is coming up next. Tried and True, just for you with Tara and Julia. Gotta love your antiques. And if you're not into antiques, it's always fun to listen to women entrepreneurs and where they started, how they started, what their journey has been like, and where they are presently, and what they're going to be doing in the future. So that's what this conversation is all about. Hope you enjoy. Hope you got your drink. Hope you got your snack. You got your earphones on. I will be back after the conversation. Hi, and welcome to the R2RB Women Entrepreneur Spotlight. And today I have Julia and Tara from Tried and True, just for you. Julia and Tara live and have their business right here in Delaware, and I'm very excited to have them here today, sharing hand-picked vintage and antique treasures that stand the test of time. Each piece is tried and true, just for you. Hi, Julia and Tara, and thank you so much for joining me today.
Hello.
Hi, thank you for having us, Deb.
You are so welcome. All right, so I'd like to ask 2 questions to get us started. Where is one place that you have never been that you would like to visit, and why?
Italy would be my first choice. I know Julia's already been to Italy, but I have, my family roots are there, and I would love to visit and just visit the history, the art, just everything, the food, everything about Italy is appealing to me. So that would be my top choice.
Nice. And Julia?
Paris, I think,
Mhm.
because I've never been. And I've been to other European countries, but not France. And so Paris is definitely high on my list.
Nice. I would like to join on both of those trips when you go.
Absolutely.
All right. So, who are you when you are not running your business?
I am a high school principal. I am a mom. I am a wife. I am a dog owner. I don't always manage all of those things well, but I try. Lots of balls to juggle, but yeah, that's who I am when I'm not a business owner.
Okay.
I feel like I'm a business owner all the time. I'm also a mom, a wife, a dog owner, and a soon to be ex-federal employee. This will become the full-time job for me. My last day is Friday, and so I'm kind of in between the two, leaving one and doing this full time. And I'm feeling like, I'm just being held back by a rope right now,
Mhm.
ready to be unleashed onto the business full time.
That's going to be tough hanging there in the middle.
Yes, yes, but just a few more days, so it's almost over.
All right. When you started Tried and True, what did you have the intentions of doing it full time, or has this now just put you in that position that this is going to be full time for you?
Well, so yes and no. We had intended for it to be full time, just not this soon. We had hoped that we had, a good 5 more years maybe to really build the business and get it to a stronger place, I guess, than it is right now. And, things happened and we'll call them opportunities presented themselves. And I felt like I was really being called to work on the business full time. And if I didn't take the opportunity now, I probably would not have another one for another 8 years.
Okay.
So I decided to take the leap
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay.
with all the support in the world from
Yes.
Tara.
Yes.
Nice. Oh, that's great. That's really great. How did you come up with the concept for Tried and True?
Well, so a friend of ours actually helped us come up with the title, but we knew that we wanted to have items that were vintage and or antique. We wanted items that were older to save them from being, dumped in the trash heaps and thrown out, to restore them in some cases and bring them back to their original glory. So I was talking to a friend who was like, I really, need to come up with a name. She just started kind of brainstorming some things and came up with it. And she had like, I don't know, 4 or 5 ideas, and I brought them to Tara, and Tara picked Tried and True just for you. And
Mhm.
that's kind of been it since then.
Yeah, I feel like it really captures what we wanted to do. We saw the concept at, we liked looking for art and liked looking for different kind of pretty vintage things for our own home. And it just seemed kind of like we had a knack from there, and then we got the name. That's been it.
Yeah.
So the both of you have always liked the antique, the vintage, secondhand shopping, or
Not really. Honestly, had you told me a couple of years ago this is what I'd be doing, I would not have believed you. Tara has always loved going to resale shops and antique stores and vintage stores, and I've always gone along. We were actually on a trip in Kentucky visiting relatives. We went to this antique mall, and it was hot as anything. It was uncomfortable. I was unhappy, to say the least. And then we ended up going back there a second time because friends of Tara's uncle had a little booth in there, and we went to an estate sale, which was the first time I'd ever been to an estate sale.
oh, cool.
And I did not like it.
Oh,
I didn't. I was like, I'm going to go wait outside. And I sat outside for, probably half the time we were there. It just wasn't for me. And then I don't know what happened. Tara started buying stuff for the house and recognizing that she had a knack for it. And I saw a business opportunity. This is where we are. And I have come to love it. There are certain pieces that I have absolutely come to love and see the beauty in and really like matching them with another person.
I love all this. I love the antique. I love the vintage. And one of the questions I'm going to put in here is what's the difference between, let them know what the difference is between vintage and antique, because I don't think everybody realizes there is a difference.
Yes, there is a difference. And, a lot of people debate about the difference. The true definition of an antique is something that's 100 years old or older. And the true definition of something that's vintage is something that is 50 years old or older. Well, yeah, between 50 to 99 and 364 days old. So that really is kind of the definition. Some people use 25 as a marker for vintage. Antique, not too many people debate. It's 100 years. Everyone widely accepts 100 years. Vintage has some play. We typically keep it to 50 years. If it's 50 years or older, we call it vintage. And if it's not, that doesn't mean we won't pick it up and we won't sell it. We're just clear. Like, this is not vintage. This is newer, or, this, there's some really cute things that are 30 years old, 20 years old, and really work well with the old ironstone or some, old brass pieces or something. So we do like to have a bit of a mix of a little newer with the really old stuff.
I like that. That's really nice. Okay, so the concept you had in place, did you put a business plan together? Did you have that plan before you really dived in?
Yes, we did. We had a business plan. I kind of sketched it together and presented it to Tara, who was a little hesitant. She wasn't really ready to jump in, and I kind of pushed her into it because we still would not have this business today if I let Tara dictate the timeline. So I was like, let's just try it. Like, what do we have to lose?
Right?
The one benefit to this type of business, it's very low startup costs for the most part as compared to other businesses. You buy the inventory and then you decide how you want to grow it from there. And so I think we've been pretty conservative with the things that we've done, and which is why this move is pretty risky for us. It's not, we have not taken big risks when it comes to the business, and this is definitely the biggest risk. But yes, so to answer your question, we had a business plan and we executed it. We have modified it a bit as we went, and as we've learned a lot about everything: business, the antique world, personalities, and how they play into things. And so it's definitely every day, I think we learn something.
Yeah, I'm sure. Absolutely. And so your inventory, you obviously go out and you've been to estate sales and what have you. Do you have people come to you and say, I have such and such, or would you be interested in it?
We do. Not that many, but a fair amount of people say, hey, I have this. Is this something you want? Or what we get most often is, I heard there's a sale happening at this address on Saturday, if you're interested in going. Or a friend of mine, their parents are selling their house and they're having an estate sale. We get a good amount of that, which is nice. We've had a lot of support from the people we know.
And you have a store.
We have an online store, which we're debating on what to do with that right now. We don't have an actual storefront or a booth. That's something that we had put in our long-term plan. I don't know where that will fit now that this is the full-time thing. It's still a long-term plan, but maybe not quite as long as we had originally thought. Definitely not this year.
Little by little is always the best way, or, one step at a time. All right. So with the online, and you do lives, how did you put that together? Because you have a lot of inventory. Do you do specific items each time you go live?
It depends. Sometimes, yes. When we do lives with other people, sometimes they pick a theme. I don't tend to pick a theme. I'm kind of all over the place and show what I think someone may want to see or something that's new. I also try to get the audience to interact with us and tell us what they want to see so that we can show them, because what's the sense in showing them something they don't want? But we've joined other sellers. We've also joined marathons, and those tend to have themes.
Okay.
We have done both, plenty of both.
And everything's inventoried. Is everything inventory? So when you're doing your lives, or I've been to a couple of the lives I've snuck in. I mean, how do you keep track?
Most things are inventoried. Sometimes we will go outsourcing the day before or the day of for something, not necessarily for something, we're just outsourcing, and we find something, we're like, oh, that would be perfect for this live. And so we literally unbox it or unwrap it, and it's on the table. Not a lot of time to research it, not a lot of time to price it. So mostly the people watching are getting a really good deal. That is the time to strike.
Right.
We haven't had a ton of time to research. So I do have a spreadsheet where I keep track of everything. Everything has a number, and everything has a price and a title and a description in my spreadsheet. And I have different tabs on it for, current inventory, sold. I have it broken down by month, my spreadsheet. I love my spreadsheet. I will not let Tara in my spreadsheet.
Yes. I'm a spaz. So when I go in there, I wind up, moving things totally by accident. So I just prefer to stay out of it.
Do you do any consignment?
No, we have not done that. Not yet, anyway.
All right. So you do everything promotional wise through social media. You get a good response?
A fairly good response. It's growing for sure. I'm always looking for new ways to grow our audience, to expand our reach. Some of the things I have in mind for once I'm doing this full time is looking at other avenues, because right now it's mainly Instagram, and Instagram could go away. The whole TikTok scare really opened a lot of people's eyes, and
Right.
so if Instagram were to go away tomorrow, we'd be stuck. So I am going to start expanding a bit, selling on other platforms. I think Instagram will probably be the main platform as long as it's there, as long as there's a space for us to sell. But I'm definitely going to expand outside of that. We recently got t-shirts. So we are like a walking billboard, or we will be once the weather's nice enough to wear t-shirts.
There you go.
Giving all of our kids the t-shirts. We're like, wear these.
You must wear these. That's it. Would you ever consider doing, or have you done like pop-up, taking your inventory?
We did that one time, and I am not opposed to doing it. The one time we did it, it was a lot of work and not a lot of reward. If we were going to do something like that, I think we would have to be a little smarter about it. Maybe do something that's like a 3-day event where you can take things and set them up and leave it. Well, not leave it, but have it set up for something that's a little more bang for our buck, because it was a ton of work.
I can imagine.
Make sure everything was stickered and then loaded up and then unloaded and then reloaded. And the place where we were was full of regulars. A table became available, and we happened to luck into it. But
we spent more time answering questions about the person who was typically in that spot.
And you don't have easy product to move. I mean, you have different shapes, sizes, weight, and what have you. So yeah, that would be a lot, but yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Let me ask you this. What hurdles did you have to work through in the beginning to, get it in motion?
I think our biggest hurdle initially was finding people to purchase our items, because we had no idea what we were doing. We kind of reverse engineered this. We bought some stuff, and I was like, I recognized that I needed to do live sales. So I was like, well, how do I do that? I can figure this out. And we found some people that were willing to do live sales with us, and we just kind of jumped in. No clue what we were doing. I mean, I had watched live sales, so I knew like how it flowed and what I needed to say, but really not a clue what I was doing. And so it took some time to kind of build up a reputation, if you will, and to build up an audience. And we're still building the audience and the reputation. I mean, it hasn't even been a year yet since we've done our first live. It wasn't until like April 19th or something when I did my very first live. And so we're still working on the presence, building a presence. And while the community is very open and welcoming, at the same time, it's very difficult to break into, which is very confusing because you have all these people who are very open and welcoming and sure, come join us and be part of this. But then the people who show up for them to make purchases aren't really showing up for us to make purchases. So it's, yeah.
That puts you in a position that is hard as much as we, you hear, come on, we'll help you. And yet, like you said, yeah, that's a hurdle to get through. Has it been a year then for you?
We established the business in February. So that has been a year, but we did not start doing live sales until April.
Okay.
So that will be a year in April. We were just doing eBay and like flat sales, trying to just kind of post things on Instagram. Hope it worked, and it did not. So we changed that a bit.
You're on Facebook. You do the notifications through Instagram for the live events?
The live events are on Instagram, and because of Meta, everything's tied together.
Okay, so that's how it works.
Yeah. So when I do something, and I don't know if every time I post on Instagram, it appears on Facebook as well, or if I use the Meta Planner, then it appears in both. I think that's the only time when you see it on both. And I like using the planner because it's a little easier to use, I think, and I can schedule things much easier. So it does appear on both. I don't know if that gets us any more people, though.
Cross-referencing it between the two sites. I know I do that too. I use the planner, which, like you said, is great because I can sit down, usually on Monday evenings, and I'll do a week or 2 weeks. I have done a whole month, but that's a lot of work too. And then it'll post on both. But I think you guys working at it the way you're working it and organically growing it. And I think here in Delaware, everybody loves the antiques and vintage and the secondhand items. Do you have a piece in your collection that stands out? Is it a little obscure, a little off, a little different?
I don't know that we have anything that's different, but we have a bit of a unicorn.
You want me to get it?
Yeah, you can get it. So there's something called elephant ear creamers. The handle looks like an elephant ear.
Okay.
They're incredibly hard to find. And you can see
how cute.
They are very cute. This one's really old. You can't see it that well, but there are like cracks.
Yeah. Do they come in different sizes?
Yes, they come in different sizes. This one's an ironstone one, and it's all white, they're pretty coveted. And we've only ever found this one in the wild. It's pretty small.
It is
Super cute.
It is cute.
It is. We've had a few other elephant ear style creamers, none all white like this, and none ironstone. So this is definitely our unicorn, and we've only ever shown it one time because we don't want to get rid of it yet. I would like to find another one before we get rid of this one.
I don't blame you. Did you have second thoughts in the beginning when you were launching?
I think we've had second thoughts on a few times. There have been some hard moments where I would not say out of frustration, like this isn't going well, we should give up. I think we've had moments where we've said, okay, should we give up because of all these reasons? Is this not the right space for us? And kind of reevaluated our plan and what we wanted to do. And every time we've come back to, no, this is just a hard moment. Right. Let's push through and see it to the other side. And now we're just going to keep on pushing through. I do have a drop dead date, if you will, where if the business isn't thriving as much as I would like it to, then I'll have to get another job. Whether or not it'll be full-time or part-time or what happens with the business remains to be seen. But I am giving myself a time frame.
And you do need to do that. I mean, with any startup, you do have to give yourself some leeway and get through all the ups and downs of the first 2-3 years going through it. Knowing what you know now, is there anything that you would have changed in the beginning putting it together?
I think the only thing I would have changed is maybe done a little more research,
Mhm.
maybe talk to a business coach or someone or an Instagram pro
Okay.
to get some tips and tricks on how to succeed in the platform.
Okay.
Because I was still totally winging it a good amount of the time, learning as I go on the fly. And I think that maybe had I taken that step, things might have been a little easier at some points along the way.
Do you have people that you can reach out to talk about the different pieces that you acquire and ask, about the piece or the business itself as well?
Yes, so we have established a good number of relationships with people in the community where you can take a picture of something and send it and be like, what is this? Or even on a live with people, we've been known to either us or someone we're selling with hold something up and be like, do you know what this is? So we have really created some good connections and friendships. Uh, we've seen some drama that we haven't necessarily like been caught up in, but we've seen it, from afar, and have been fortunate that we haven't really been caught up in it, but we still have been able to make some really good friendships and connections along the way.
Nice. Did you have anybody in the beginning tell you that you were crazy for starting this up?
I feel like people didn't really look at it as like a legitimate business. It was like, oh, isn't this cute that you spend your weekends going to estate sales and garage sales. And I don't think they really understood that there is really this whole community out there of people who want to buy these items. Just the time it takes to research them and present them. And I feel like we still struggle with that maybe a little bit when people hear that we do it. It's like, oh, that's sweet. But I don't know that they really see it as legitimate the way we see it.
Antiques, the vintage, secondhand here in Delaware. I mean, it is a big commodity here.
Mhm.
I think so. One, because I'm always in one. I'm always at it, looking online, or I'm at one, finding all the stores. So, I guess maybe if you're not into it, you might think that way. But yeah, this is a great state to, really look into for the antiques and vintage of what you have. I was reading your blog, and one of the posts discussed how vintage and antique pieces can keep us connected to the past while helping the environment. Tell us about that and what it means to you.
One of the prompts, I guess, to starting this business was, in addition to Tara looking for things for our home, was my mom had passed away. And it had not been a year yet when we were kind of talking about the business. And, my mom really liked nice things. I don't know that and she always felt that things were thrown away too easily and disposed of. And so I don't know that she ever really used the term like I like antiques or I like vintage, but she felt that people were too quick to throw things away and things weren't made like they used to be. And she really did like nice quality items. I couldn't always afford them, but liked them and bought them when she could. And so part of this was a paying homage to her and her memory, and to also kind of doing something productive in her memory, something that she couldn't do, whether she wanted to or not, I don't know. But I feel like she felt stuck a large amount of her life, stuck in a job, stuck having to do certain things because of circumstances.
Right.
And so I, often wonder what would she have done if she could have?
Mhm.
And I'd like to think that some of what we do kind of honors that for her. And so, we see all these pieces, and, some pieces have masking tape on the back of them, and they have stories, and they have the names of people who own them. I just sold a plate the other day that someone was given when she got married in 18, so it was 50 years old in 1911, so 1861. 1861, this plate was given to this woman, and it had all the grandmothers' names
Oh my
that the
gosh.
plate had been passed down to.
Wow.
Yeah, now someone gave that away,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
but we picked it up, And we resold it to someone who loves the fact that that sticker's on there and loves the history. And so I feel like holding on, helping people keep those memories alive, even if it's with someone else, even if it's with someone
Wow.
who didn't know them, kind of helps keep the memories of all the people that we've lost alive
Right.
in different ways. So I would say that's what
Mhm.
it means to me.
Yeah.
I like that. I really like that. Yeah. The pieces, my mom, and that's probably why I like the antiques as well, is that my mom likes antiques and she has antiques that she's collected through the years. But not only that, she has her mother's pieces, still. And I have pieces from my grandmother. We have pieces that were my grandmother's in the family. And you're right. They all tell a story and they're part of us. And yes, I've done it too. I've given things away, but I love the fact that you just said that it carries on with somebody else, especially if they know the story. And for me, walking into an antique store, that's exactly what I think. It's like, well, who owned this? Where was it? Where was it? Why is it here? So yeah, so what you do is it's important, and keeping it out of the landfills and everything, also is great for the environment. Absolutely, 100%. What's been the best highlight for the both of you for having Tried and True?
I love that we can do this together. This was always intended to kind of be our second act, like once we left our day jobs, but we really love spending time together. And this is a way to do that. I mean, we have been to some crazy houses and some crazy sales, and like we just laugh and we just have so much fun doing it. So it's, if you love what you do, you don't ever work a day in your life. Like we really love doing this. And the fact that we can do it together feels really special. And we feel really, not to sound trite, but feel really blessed that we can do it together.
And we get to explore too areas. I mean, I've lived in Delaware all my life and I've explored areas of the state that I've never seen before. Or even, going into Pennsylvania and Jersey, Maryland, we always make it a point to eat somewhere different, to find a coffee shop and have a cup of coffee and sit down and, plan out our next move. And we've had some really great coffee. We've had some really bad coffee, but we've had some really great coffee and, have gotten to support local businesses in the area and these little coffee shops or these little cafes. And so I feel like continuing to give back even as we're working and finding things for the business and, enjoying finding new things together.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. That is really nice. And there is so much here in Delaware. Just real quick, my parents retired here 19 years ago. I'm here permanently 3, but I've always traveled back and forth from Connecticut. When I finally came down here permanently, I always like to get out and find new places. But my mom says, you've been to more places in 3 years than I have in 20. But it is nice. It is nice to get out, and I have great conversations with people. And I do the same thing too for my shows. I'll go out and find a different place during the week that I can talk about. And, it's just to strike up a conversation with somebody that you wouldn't normally probably strike up a conversation with, like you going out for coffee and finding all your antiques and what have you. So that's really, really nice. What advice would you give somebody starting, or a woman entrepreneur starting their business?
I would say, don't give up. Don't let the noise get in the way and stop you from pursuing your dream or your goal. Figure out your why and remember your why. If you have to write it down, if you have to put it on the refrigerator, wherever you need to put it, tattoo it on your arm, figure out your why and keep that in focus, because people are going to talk. People are going to have opinions of what you're doing. It's right, it's wrong, it's this, it's that. All that really matters is what you're doing and why you're doing it. And as long as you stay true to that, then you will succeed.
And keep looking at that note that you leave for yourself.
Yes, there are going to be hard days, right?
Yeah.
Even the most successful business person has hard days. Every business is a risk, even the most successful ones. For you to continue to grow, you have to keep taking risks. So you are going to need that North Star, if you will, to keep guiding you in the right direction and reminding you why you do what you're doing. That's part of the exciting piece of it too. It's exciting as much as it is anxiety provoking.
Right. And with that North Star, what's next for Tried and True just for you?
That's an interesting question. My goal for the next couple of months is to really focus on the marketing aspect of the business. That's something that we really haven't had an opportunity to work on too much because let's be real, that's what gets pushed to the side when you don't have any time. So I really want to work on the marketing, doing things like taking pictures of our stuff and posting it for no other reason, just to post it so people can see it. When I do a live show, I'm not good at posting a preview ahead of time because I don't have the time.
Right.
Often I'm running. Like there have been days where I've literally run in the house from the gym, slid into the seat and pushed go. Face all red. I looked a mess, but there's filters for that. So but that doesn't leave me much time to post a preview of what's coming. And so I really want to spend a good amount of time focusing on those things. And also looking at how we can expand into different arenas to have various flows of income coming in. So it's not just via Instagram. That could go away, or they could make some drastic changes to Instagram. Who knows what's coming? And that's our short term next.
I like it. And where can everybody find you?
The best place to find us is on Instagram right now at Tried and True Just For You. We do have a website, triedandtruejustforyou.com. It is changing though. One of the things we've definitely learned over time is how our website works or doesn't for us. And right now we have one that's way too robust for what we do. It's just too much. So we need to scale that back. But you can always reach us that way via email. We have an email address, triedandtruejustforyou@gmail.com. Instagram and the email address are probably the best ways.
Do you have people reach out to you and say, I'm looking for this particular item? Have you seen it? Will you look for it? Yeah.
Yes. They do. And we have friends who will just randomly text us, hey, do you have this? Like you were the people who popped in my mind when I thought I wanted, someone just did it. They wanted a candle snuffer. And I was like, oh yeah, we have a few. I took a picture of the ones we had and 5 minutes later she bought it. So I love those kinds of transactions.
That's great. Awesome. All right. I like that. Tara and Julia, thank you so much for joining me on Women Entrepreneurs Spotlight. I do appreciate you being here. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
So much.
It was a pleasure.
Yes.
Oh, you are welcome. All right. I hope you enjoyed that conversation with Tara and Julia of Tried and True Just For You. And I'll be back after the music.
Let
You're listening to Reel Broadcasting.
That's right. You're listening to R2RB, Out of the Attic, live from Delaware. These last two songs, oh my gosh. Let me tell you about the one that you were just listening to, Nadine de Macedo, multi-genre composer and producer. Nadine de Macedo stands for complex, melancholic melodies, no matter if it's pop, rock, metal, or electronic music. And this song, hold on because I want to make sure I pronounce it right. So this song, and I'm sure not going to pronounce it correctly. I apologize. Queenek, drawing its name from the mythical spirit, combines Scottish folklore with deep house and progressive trance. Queenek is a banshee-like figure whose sorrowful cries foretell death and tragedy. With its entrancing melody and its Gaelic influences, this song sounds like a mournful cry in the open. Atmospheric, haunting, mystic, yet beautiful in its own way. She says, probably one of my weirdest sounds out there, but I hope you enjoy the journey. And for the full immersion, listen to the 7-minute version. You will not regret it. You won't, because I also have listened to the 7-minute version. Beautiful. And this was the radio edit. Beautiful song. Oh my, beautiful. Okay. And then before that was Stratification Music featuring Cyrus Blu-ray. All right, so let me tell you about them. Sean, and Cyrus Blu-ray are a duo from London, UK, now residing in beautiful Ireland. Cyrus is the singer-songwriter, and Strat produces the music. We do a mix of Strat's drum and bass tunes. I like this. She also has done many collaborations with other artists, including Jonathan Dawkins, Ilu City, David Sin, Miles O'Flaherty, Black Marine, and more. I'm telling you, I love the collaborations. And if you haven't heard Ilu City with Cyrus, you know what? I'm just going to be. Oh, let me start that over again. If I pronounce names wrong, I do apologize. I do try to make sure that I'm pronouncing names correctly, and I usually always, if I'm doing an interview, and or even when I'm talking about indie artists, try to make sure I have the right pronunciation. So going forward, beautiful music. I mean, I ended up in this indie artist community really by default. I started this Out of the Attic show really for Women Entrepreneurs podcast, and I was playing mainstream music in the beginning. I didn't know what I was doing. At that time, I just wanted to have a platform to share the Women Entrepreneurs podcasts, and then I got hooked on indie artists when I moved here to Delaware, and the rest is history, I guess you could say. And I just continue to find and listen to beautiful music by all the indie artists that there are so many, and I am so grateful to those who reach out and send me your MP3s, because there's just so much. I know that all of us would love to listen to it all. But yeah, so that's these two. And Stratification also is part of the Wednesday. They are the Wednesday rally. And then like I said, and group together is all intertwined, which I'm going to elaborate more on Wednesday's show, because I did not write that into tonight's show. And I want to make sure I have all my I's dotted and my T's crossed, as they would say. All right, where did I go? Let me tell you where I went this weekend, because I really want to share that with you as well. And yes, you want to know where I went. Of course you do. All right, so let me tell you, where did I go? Yesterday was Saturday, yes. So I headed up to Smyrna, to Homestead Gardens, for a class on basic container gardening, I guess you would say. Great. The person who was doing the conversation. It was so informative. Let me tell you, she knew her job, knew what she was talking about. Talked about soils and fertilizer and a couple other things as well. Anyway, if you have not been up to Homestead Gardens, and if you are in Delaware, head to Smyrna. What a great place! They've got a great store. And so they've got the store too, because there's great other things, local honey, so much. Just go and visit. All right. What I really want to tell you about is, besides that one. So today, I go to yoga on Wednesday. Don't laugh. You're not laughing, right? I do. I go to yoga on Wednesday, Friday, and Sundays. And Miss Coexist, Angela Cologne, is our leader for the yoga, and she's so great. It's also through the Stone and Sage Metaphysical Store, and then where we go for the yoga studio is the Stone and Sage Holistic Healing Center. I believe I have that right. So, but it's in Milford, and Milford I kind of have adopted as my second home. And there was a new store opening this week, so I had to stop in, and it's called Overgrown Plant Market and Workshop. Oh my gosh. You like houseplants? Are you in the area? You've got to go stop in and see Gage and Dalton and just all these cute houseplants. I walked out with a really nice ivy plant for my mom, who has a planter in the living room in the front of the window, and it fits in so nicely. I posted pictures over on R2R Broadcasting Facebook page. Go find them. Go like them. In fact, do Tried and True just for you. All the music that I have been playing. Please go like, follow, comment, share. And if you are in the Milford area, Overgrown Plant Market and Workshop. So they will be guests, on the R2R podcast series once I get back from vacation. Because I can't put anything else on my calendar right now. In fact, when I come back from vacation, May's pretty well booked up with interviews and what have you. So we're looking at probably June by the time I get them booked and have them on. So I'm excited. Great guys. What a great concept. I was talking with Gage, and he said his dad is an arborist. See, there I go with those words again. And so he also has a love of plants and such, and so does his business partner Dalton. And Gage said he ran out of room for his plants at home and landed in this storefront over on where are they? They're on North Walnut Street. Just go check them out, and even if you just go check them out on Facebook, because I love these little plants and the planters and what have you. All right, that's where I was this weekend. The usual, out and about. Wasn't such a great weekend, but I got to get out and about at least once or twice over the weekend just to take a break. All right, what's up next? I don't know. What do we got? We got this one. We got more music. I know you'll enjoy these. And then coming up will be the primary phase principle. And I'm really looking forward to sharing Eric's information about this project. I think it's pretty cool. I know I repeat myself, but it goes for everybody. The indie artist mind just blows me away with the concepts and the creativity and the songwriting and then the music. I'm just always in amazement because my brain doesn't work that way. So when, I get to listen and read and find out about each of you, it's always mind-blowing. Anyway, I'll be back.
rocks in a highball glass. A slice of orange and a peach mustache. Sex on the beach. Sex on the beach. 2 measures of vodka drizzled over crushed ice. The heat of the alcohol is burning and nice. Sex on the beach. Shake it left and then shake it right until it infuse the flavors. Straight it into a highball glass to delight the bathers. Traveling up with my heart, mama. Looking for a hot day in summer. Take a sip and then do your lover. Sex on the beach, sat on the rocks in a highball glass. A slice of orange and a peach mustache. Sex on the beach, sex on the beach, sex on the beach, sex.
I'll be seeing you for the rest of my life, and I'll remember you, and I'll be seeing you in spite of loving you for the rest of my life. We laughed and cried for years, shed so many tears, all that we've been through. My heart remains for you, all that we have seen, places we have been. I've been watching you, and you've been watching me too. So I'll remember you for the rest of my life. I'll remember you for the rest of my life.
All right, that was Remember Me, MONOGROOVE, and they are from California. Before that, the Henry Ford Band, Kill for a Cocktail. Yes, and Sex on the Beach is a cocktail. All right, moving into, and let me just give a little more explanation. So I had started recently doing a highlight of indie artists. I also do, and it is separate, the indie artist, the R2RB indie artist podcast. That is totally separate. The podcast I pre-record. It's an in-depth interview. I go into, where the indie artists started, how they got into the music, everything in between, right up into present time. The indie spotlight highlight, I haven't quite, probably the highlight because I use spotlight a lot of in other things, started a couple weeks ago, and I'm continuing it a little bit not quite as I had first started out doing it, but it's going to be in conjunction with Wednesday rally. Excuse me. So I had gotten an email from Eric, from the primary phase principal, this last week. And as you know, indie artists, you all can send me MP3s, information, bio on yourselves at info@r2rb.com. And I wanted to highlight him. So that's what I am doing tonight. And going forward, the highlights will be on Wednesday night. So I will do an in-depth interview with an indie artist, and then towards the end of the show, it will be a highlight, and it'll be give me your best elevator pitch of who you are and the song that you have picked, why you picked the song you did for the Wednesday rally. So that's a little bit more behind the scenes of what's going on. I've always got something going on. I got a lot, let me tell you. Well, I can't tell you, but I got a lot of things going on behind the scenes. My head hurts. Oh my gosh, I've got tablets and phones and notebooks and Post-it notes on my screens. I got 2 screens going, 2 monitors going tonight. Actually, I've wanted to do this for a while, but finally was able to get it all hooked up. So there is that. Okay, let's get into who is the primary phase principal. Well, let me tell you who that is. It is Eric St. Onge. St. Onge, I hope. He is an independent solo music artist from Winnipeg, Canada, by the name of the primary phase principal. And he was looking for airplay. His music is instrumental, slightly experimental, electronic, post-industrial with a tendency towards dark and atmospheric. And his second album was just released February 25th of this year. 2/25/25. I like those numbers. So I took a listen, and as I do, I always, find out a little bit more wherever I can, be it Facebook, Bandcamp. There's always something on the indie artists that I can research and get some information. So I was like, yeah, definitely, and let me highlight you, and let me tell you guys about Eric and his project and his albums. He has 2 of them. Okay, I'm switching over. Okay. So Echoes of the Mechatronic Age, Subterranean Ages #1. So I'm listening to the music, and then I started to read, and I was like, oh my God, I'm so glad I decided I wanted to highlight Eric, because again, these indie artists, your mind just I'm always in awe. So let me see. Blessed be the brass upon my hammer. Blessed be the cog upon thy wheel. Serve us, O great machine, as we serve thee. May thy steam rise up forever. And so I read on. Echoes of the Mechatronic Age is a concept album that imagines a future history of Earth in which all humanity becomes entirely dependent on a giant mechanical machine whose origins and purpose now eludes them. Now, okay, so think beyond what Eric is saying here and take what Eric has said, listen to this music, and then let it take you to a place where it could happen, right? I mean, we're already, what did I just say? I have my phone, I have my tablet, I have 2 monitors going tonight, and we're all connected to a machine. We're not connected to each other, we're not touching each other, we're connected through all this electronics. So again, here's Eric takes on this whole concept that isn't really too far-fetched or out there, right? And brings it all together, and it is so mind-blowing that when you think about it and where he's taking us on this journey. So I'm just going to play the first track off this album, Corruption of the Order, and let it take you to a place where perhaps you haven't thought about, and maybe you should. I'll be back. Wow. The primary phase principle, corruption of the order. And that is the first track off Echoes of the Mechatronic Age, Subterranean Ages #1. Eric's music attempts to create and convey fictional worlds and stories without the use of lyrics. Each track is thoughtfully crafted, often with highly dynamic structures, blending dark electronic tones with bright organic melodies. Absolutely. So, then his next album, Collapse of the Sightless Age. And you have to go, the primary phase principle, Bandcamp, please go find him, follow Eric, and you have to listen to the whole album, and you have to let your mind go where he intends it to go. And then the Collapse of the Sightless Age, Subterranean Ages #2. And 255 cycles have elapsed since Mother spoke to us. Criterion 0 of the new mechanistic prophecy has been met. If all criteria are met, the prophecy shall evaluate as true. We perceive the prophecy potentially true. Do you concur? Collapse of the Sightless Age is a concept album that imagines a future history of Earth in which all humanity is forced underground following environmental collapse, and is the sequel to the primary phase principle's debut album, Echoes of the Mechatronic Age. Following the fall of the mechatronic order, the populace of this subterranean world are content to accept the machine as their unequivocal caretaker, so much so that it does not even register to them as a machine at all. Rather, it is perceived as the very fabric of their world, a natural construction that is internally constant. That is until the new mechanists uncover the truth. Influences for this concept include The Machine Stops by E.M. Forster, Isaac Asimov's Robot Stories, and Thief 2, The Metal Age. The music is instrumental, dark, and slow-paced. It was produced with a strong focus on sound design, resulting in a striking blend of organic sounds contrasted against a backdrop of gritty, chilling synths. Wow. All right, so you have that in your mind, right? You know where it's going. And this is the first song off of that album. The primary phase principle, Unearthing the Core, from the Collapse of the Sightless Age. Wow. Unearthing the core from collapse of the sightless age. The primary phase principle. So on my sound wave that's up on my screen is so cool. And it took me a minute, but you can see the buildup in this, in unearthing the core. You know, you can actually, I can see it. It builds up, and as you get closer to unearthing the core, and you know, that excitement. I don't know if it was excitement, but it's that buildup. It's that what's coming, and just when you get to that end, you know that they're there. It's so amazing. I'm not a reviewer, but I just think this is so cool. I usually don't have the right words that I want, but I think you got the gist of it. I want to just read a couple of comments that people have left for Eric, and this is from his album Echoes of the Mechatronic Age. Yes, Arcane Synthetic says, such a unique sound, yet also full of familiar textures so as not to alienate the listener. The primary phase principle seeks to blend a perfect balance of the cinematic score with the thrashing industrial conventions, with mostly an emotive heart at the center. A truly captivating experience to my ears. I very much look forward to seeing what else he has in store for us in the future. Favorite track, Corruption of the Order. Mine too. And then, on the next album, some of the comments from that were from A Lost Cause Industry. This album is nothing but amazing. Top-notch performance and production. Your ears and soul will be wickedly pleased. Oh, yes. Nadine, a sonic delight for all the dark sci-fi lovers. What a pleasant sound design. I can't pick a favorite song because this album works as a concept. Absolutely. And our Arcane Synthetic as well here. I was lucky to attend the pre-release listening party a few hours ago and hear this magnificent sequel ahead of its release day. It is magnificent. It is. This when somebody can put this album together with these tracks to bring you on this ride of a different realm, it just amazes me, that you can be swept away and swept into the music and taken to a place where you may not have thought about going. Can you imagine? And it's not a far-fetched idea. One of machines running our lives, and eventually the fall. Amazing, Eric. Just amazing. I have thoroughly enjoyed this. This is one of my benefits of doing what I do. I get to listen to all this great music that I probably never have listened to before. And then I get to share it with all of you. So I hope you please go find the primary phase principle, like Eric, comment, share, stream, and buy a track or 2 or 5. You will not be disappointed. Believe me, at all. Have I steered you wrong? I don't think so. Eric, thank you so much for sharing that with me. And thank you for allowing me to share you the primary phase principle. All right, I'll be back.
Black and white, shades of gray into the night. I put pen to paper and I write. I sleep it off, I'll be alright. Crawling out of my skin into the doubt. Silently I scream loud. to end it all, and I'll be the first to fall, yeah. You have my back against the wall. Oh, tell me how to end it all, and I'll be the first to fall, first to fall. If you wanna have blue sky, gotta deal with some rain. Shadows on my soul, and they're showing me which way I should go. And I hear whispers in my brain, and they're telling me you can't have blue skies unless you have rain. Still recall the day you left me. You said you'd come back, so I'd wait to see your face again and ease my pain. Then I'll have blue skies instead of rain. I'm living in the storm and the rain sting. I'm exposed by the elements, that's what loneliness brings. You were my shelter, you're my inner room. I'll perish in the weather unless you come back soon. If you wanna have blue skies, you gotta deal with some rain. Memories grow thin, so easy to fade, from waiting on the rain to end. I hold you in my arms and see your eyes. No more cloudy days, only blue skies. Only blue skies.
listening to Out of the Attic, live from Delaware with Deb Lamata.
All right, that was Blue Skies by Covered Bridge from their album Bring the Jazz Guitar on Monday. I got to tell you a story about it. So that's Joey Fulkerson and Kevin Nemeth. Before I moved here, and this is many years ago, my mom would say, "Oh, Kevin's he's having this party at his house and setting up chairs, and he's playing music." And I know them. They've been neighbors forever, but I just didn't get the concept. And I wasn't here for these parties that they were well, there was a house concert. I didn't know Kevin Nemeth at the time, with Joey Fulkerson were, Joey's still all over the place in Delaware. But I didn't know Kevin was just as famous. Who knew? I found out. Here I am telling you the story. Anyway, if you have a chance, if you see Joey Fulkerson in your neighborhood, go. He is amazing, amazing blues singer. And oh my God, guitarist, forget about it. All right, so that's my story on that. The song before that was Laura Shay, First to Fall. Again, I hope you have been enjoying tonight's show. I have thoroughly enjoyed sharing Tried and True Just for You, Women Entrepreneurs podcast interview, the great music that started us off and got us through the evening, right through the primary phase principle, and everything in between. I will be on vacation for 2 weeks. As I mentioned at the beginning of the show, I will be rebroadcasting shows while I am away. I know. I'll pick some good ones. If you have a favorite, you can email me at info@r2rb.com. I know that one of them will be one of the Sintel Inspirational Gospel Hour shows. I really enjoy our shows. The time that we do the Inspirational Gospel Hour, always a great conversation. Sintel always comes up with a great topic for our conversation, and it never fails me that it always turns out great. So that is the third Sunday of every month, and on the fourth Sunday of every month, it is the Unexplained Discoveries team, paranormal investigators, George, Tony, and Karen, and they have a good one coming up next month. Excuse me. Nope, they are this month because I will be back in time to have them on April 27th. So mark your calendar for that. And then 2 shows for halfway through the week will be rebroadcasted. And I think I know which ones I'm rebroadcasting. You'll just have to wait and find out. I will share on Facebook who will be on those shows. And I got a lot of stuff coming up in May, so I need this time off to get ready for May. Plus, I haven't seen my grandkids in a while, so I'm looking forward to that. Yay! It's also birthday month. Again, it's my birthday coming up. It's my granddaughter's birthday coming up. It's her grandfather's birthday coming up. Did I miss anybody? Yeah, it was a busy. My dad was April 17th, and so is my granddaughter. So that was pretty cool. Thank you, Kaya. Kaya's been on my show. We have to get her back on the show. She does a great job. Last year, I wasn't sure. Gosh, she's going to be 9 this year. Oh my God, where'd the time go? Last summer, the summer before, she's been on the show a couple times, and she really did a great job. I will have to have her back on. She's got a busy schedule. She plays softball, and I don't know if she's taking dance lessons this year, but she's getting old. My gosh, she's 9. Anyway, that's where it's all at. So I hope everybody can tune in Wednesday night, excuse me, before I go on vacation, halfway through the week at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will be posting tomorrow who will be on the show. It's not an interview. It'll be highlights, and I'm excited about sharing that and my collaboration with Wednesday Rally. With Atlas Slip. So that should be fun. Lots more great music, and find out who's who on the circuit around here. Okay, that is it for me. That wraps up tonight's edition of Out of the Attic live from Delaware. Let's play us out with a song or two, and remember to tune in when I come back. That'll be April 27th. I will be back for the live show of Out of the Attic, live from Delaware. So mark your calendar. All right, everybody, have a great week. Stay safe, and I will talk to you soon.
Always when we fight, I kiss you once or twice, and everything's forgotten. I know you hate that. I love you, Sunday sun. The week's not yet begun, and everything is quiet, and it's always you and me, always and forever. You and me, always and forever. Ba, 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 ba. It was always you and me, always. You tell me I'm a real man, I try to look impressed, not very convincing, but you know I love that. Now we watch TV until we fall asleep. Not very exciting, but it's you and me, and we'll always be together. You and me, always and forever. Ba, 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 ba. It was always you and me, always and forever. You and me, always and forever. Ba, ba, ba. It was always you and me, always and forever. Ba-da-da-ba-ba-ba-ba. Ba-da-da-ba-ba-ba-ba.
We are Sarah and the Others, and you're listening to R2RB.com.